I'm Lorna, and today I'm going to read Mr. and Mrs. Pig's Evening Out by Mary Rayner. Once upon a time, there lived a family of pigs. There was Father Pig and Mother Pig. And then there were 10 piglets. They were called Sorrel Pig, Byrony Pig, Hilary Pig, Sarah Pig, Cindy Pig, Toby Pig, Alan Pig, William Pig, Garth Pig, and Benjamin Pig. Now one evening, Mother Pig called the children to her as they were playing all over the house. "Now, piglets," she said, "your father and I are going out this evening." There was a chorus of groans. "Oh, not far," said Mrs. Pig, "and I've asked a very nice lady to come and look after you." "What is her name?" asked William Pig. "I don't like babysitters," said Benjamin. "Oh," said Mrs. Pig, looking vague. Well, she's coming from the agency, so I'm not sure what her name is, but you're sure to like her." "We didn't like the last one from the agency," grumbled Garth. "Oh, I'm sure you'll find that this babysitter will be very nice. Now get along into your baths, and I'll come and tuck you in before we go out." The piglets took as long as they could having their baths and made a great many puddles and splashes in the bathroom. But at last Mother Pig got them upstairs. Just as she was putting on her best dress, the front doorbell rang. Dong dong! Down ran Mrs. Pig, grunting and puffing in her haste to open the door. A dark face peered at her, how heavily wrapped in mackintosh and hat. "Are you Mrs. Pig?" asked a gruff voice. "Yes," said Mother Pig brightly. "Do come in. The children are just getting into their beds. They sleep in bunk beds," she explained. And so they did. 2 to a bed, head to tail, stacked 5 beds high. "Can you help me?" called Father Pig from upstairs in the bedroom. Mrs. Pig hurried upstairs. He was just putting on his smart shirt, which he always wore when they went out. It was dark blue, and Mrs. Pig liked him to wear it because she thought it made him look thinner. Unfortunately, the buttons would keep coming undone, so everyone always noticed how tight the shirt had become. Mrs. Pig struggled to get it done up. Suddenly, she remembered she had not asked the babysitter's name. She ran out of the bedroom again. The babysitter was just settling herself comfortably on the sofa. "Would you mind telling me what you are called?" said Mrs. Pig. "The children do like to know." "It's Mrs. Wolf." Excuse me, said the babysitter, crossing a pair of her dark, hairy legs and getting out her knitting. "Oh, thanks," said Mrs. Pig without thinking. "Now, Mrs. Wolf, I've left the kitchen light on, and if you should feel like making yourself a hot drink or having something to eat later in the evening, do please help yourself." "Thank you, I shall," said the wolf. At that moment, Mr. Pig called through to say that he was quite ready, and with many farewell kisses and hugs for the children, Mr. and Mrs. Pig went out for the evening with light hearts. Mrs. Wolf sat in the living room and read magazines. The piglets all seemed to have gone off to sleep. She went upstairs once to check. It seemed a very long evening. There was nothing to watch on television. After a while, Mrs. Wolf began to feel empty. So she went into the kitchen, but she didn't turn on the kettle. No, she turned on the oven. And she tiptoed up to the piglet's bedroom. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh dear. In the lowest bunk bed were Garth and Benjamin snoring faintly. Mrs. Wolf looked longingly at Garth, all rosy, plump, and pink. She snatched him up and carried him off downstairs. He made such a snorting and squealing that all his friends and brothers and sisters sat bolt right up in bed. Whatever was going on? Quick as a flash, Sorrel cried, "After him, everyone! Mrs. Wolf is not to be trusted." Seizing Garth's blanket off his bed, the 9 piglets galloped downstairs as fast as their short little legs could carry them. Trum, 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 trum. They come. They were in the nick of time. Mrs. Wolf was bending over the oven with her back to them, holding Garth, about to put him in. 4 of you take this side of the blanket. 4 of you take that side, hissed Sorrel outside the kitchen. The piglets did as they were told. Now, ordered Sorrel. They ran in and threw the blanket over Mrs. Wolf's head. She backed away from the oven, still holding Garth. Muffled snarls came through the blanket. The piglets held on tight. Mrs. Wolf struggled and threshed, but she could not possibly get out. She dropped Garth and went down on all 4s. Garth wriggled free, and the piglets hung on bravely. Mrs. Wolf braced herself and humped her back, her long, hairy tail lashing from side to side. Terrible growls came from her. "Hang on, everyone!" shouted Sorrel. Mrs. Wolf leapt into the air. The piglets were tossed to and fro, but still they hung on bravely. As soon as they were back on their feet, they circled round and round her so that the blanket was wrapped tighter and tighter. Then they tied the 4 corners together so they could not possibly get out, and left her in the middle of the kitchen. Maybe Mom and Dad shouldn't have left their babies with a wolf. When their father and mother came home, the 10 piglets told them what a narrow escape they had had. Father Pig went out into the night and carried the blanket bundle to the middle of the bridge. There they leaned over the parapet. He leaned over the parapet and shook Mrs. Wolf into the depths of the big river. And she was not heard of again for a very long time. That's called Mr. and Mrs. Pig's Evening Out. Whoa. Whoa. Do you guys know that song? It goes like this. Frère Jacques, Frère Jacques, dormez-vous, dormez-vous, sonne la mattina, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong. Are you sleeping, are you sleeping, Brother John, Brother John? Morning bells are ringing, morning bells are ringing, ding, ding, dong, ding, ding, dong.